Perfect.
Yep, we're recording.
Awesome. Hey everyone, my name is JJ Spittler with eXp Realty and CEO of Revival Marketing. And today we're going to be sitting down and showing you guys how to, one, consistently get 2 to 5 leads sent directly to you every day. Number two, if you're completely new, we'll be going step by step through how to build a Facebook ad, the new different ad policy changes with Facebook. And even if you're more experienced, we'll be throwing a few tips here and there that helped a lot of our clients see over that 5x ROI. So for the people that have questions at the end, like Peter said, we'll be doing a short Q&A to make sure that you get everything you're looking for out of this webinar. So let's jump right into it. To start off, my account manager and account specialist, Peter, will be going through the step-by-step process of how to create an ad. Peter, go ahead and take it away, man.
Awesome. Thank you, JJ. And thank you everyone for having me. Yeah, I know, appreciate you all coming. So we'll just hop right into it. I'm going to share my screen here real quick. Up here. So let's see here. So this is in the ad creation screen. So you've got your ad account set up, your business manager all ready to go, and you've hit create new campaign. And for those of you, some of you may already know this, but if I can stress one thing, it's make sure you click on this special ad category when you are creating your ad. With Facebook's new policies, you have to put your ad, if it's for real estate, under housing. And we actually dealt with this where I thought I was in the right. I was doing an ad that was kind of related to it, but wasn't really. And I didn't check it. And they took away my entire ability to advertise on my personal profile. So if I can stress anything, please make sure you check off that box. But yeah, once you've checked that in the campaign level, we're going to scroll down here. The one we'd like to go with the most is lead generation. We've just found it's the best bang for your buck. Scroll down here. We'll do lead generation test. We usually don't go with the campaign budget optimization. We usually take that inside the ad set level. So we'll hit continue. Best if I can spell. There we go. All right. So this is the ad set level of the ad creation. If you haven't done one before, it'll ask you to choose your page and maybe accept some terms real quick. But then you're going to want to scroll down here, and what we're going to go to first is the location. So obviously, we'll just do one for where we're at in Portland here. And with the new ad changes, you have to have a 15-mile radius. It used to be you could target, zip codes. You could exclude zip codes, but people were excluding zip codes of areas that weren't as financially well off to try and get better quality leads. And so Facebook changed it with the new policies, and you can now only do a minimum of 15 miles. So you can do more if you'd like to. You can drop down more. You can change the radius up to 50. But depending on what it looks like over here, we usually just go with 15. And we're going to scroll down here. Another thing that we go over is the detailed targeting. And this is especially changed since the new policies. The ones we go with the most, as some of you already know, it's going to be Zillow, Realtor.com, and Trulia. And what you can do from here too, JJ is going to kind of go over how we mess around with this to get the most out of your ads. But those are kind of the basics, as well as you can click over here on suggestions. If you put in those, the suggestions will give you some great ones to kind of look over. But again, JJ is going to go over that and drop some bombs later. When it comes to placements, this is a big one too. We've seen changes with since the ad policies have been changed in Facebook. It used to be everyone would say, all right, edit your placements and take out everything except for Facebook newsfeed. But we've found that since the policies have mixed up a little bit, we found that automatic placements has worked the best for us. And I think this is because, Facebook realizes they took away quite a few targeting options for your ads. So they are a lot better at kind of helping put your ads in front of the right people. So they do a little bit more of the work for you instead of you just having to go and put it just in the news feed. But one thing we will do is if you don't have an Instagram page connected, make sure you edit placements and then come over here and remove Instagram. it'll give you an error because it's essentially the same, but if you don't have one connected and you do automatic, it'll give you an error message. Daily budget. So this is really key, and where a lot of people, I think, it's tough now because you see a lot of videos of, I got this many leads at $5 a day, and people try to just come in at $5. You can come in at $5 per day. It's what we've seen, and this is almost in every area. In a few rare occasions, we've seen $5 work consistently, but $5, the results have become really volatile, and it's hard to get a consistent amount of leads coming in. So $10 a day we've found is definitely the most consistent. You're going to get the most guaranteed amount of results consistently per day as you're running it. So we recommend $10. You can test out with $5. Obviously, if your area isn't as competitive, with the saturation of the Facebook market. If you're in California, obviously, in some of those higher populated areas, it's going to be a lot tougher to get through at $5, but it's something to test out. You can try it for a day or two. But what we recommend is $10. So I'm going to click continue, and this is going to take us to the ad creation level. And let's see here. I like naming, you've seen I've changed it at the top of them, especially when you start to have a lot of ads in your ads manager. It's nice if you can go through all of them and make sure they have the same name. If you're doing ad sets, obviously label, the different targeting, but we found that it's really helpful just organizationally to make sure everything's all labeled. And for the image, we'll go through here. So this is, I'm sure, bread and butter of what a lot of you are wanting to see. We'll go add image. And we're going to go show you guys one of our single listing ads, which we've seen perform really well in just about every market. So we stick with the picture of the front of the home, the primary text. Let me go grab this. You don't have to watch me type it all out. So this is, check out the hottest home for sale in your area, blank bedroom, blank bathroom home with an open floor plan, stately rock fireplace, and a gorgeous back patio, under $355K. Wait until you see the rest of the photos. And we'll go grab that headline real quick as well. And I realized it says get the price right here, and we also have it. So this is something that you can, I just want to give you an example of, if you're testing out moving the price in, taking it out. JJ will go over that as well later, but just want to give you an example. So we've seen really good results with this. And it's simple. It gets people in, and you can also, add more questions in the lead form. But again, I just want to show you guys how to make it. JJ is going to go over kind of the meat of it all later. So headline, description. You can add a description in if you want to put in your website or some other link to, if you want them to go, if there's somewhere else you want them to go. People don't usually look at the description. It's kind of hidden, especially, I believe Facebook just made some changes, so it's a little bit harder to find on there. But if it's something where you kind of want to throw that in because you are just gathering their information and then talking to them at another point, you feel free to put something in there. When it comes to call to action, we found that Learn More has definitely performed the best. We always go with Learn More just because it's the most non-commitmental out of all of the different call to actions that you've seen. People, if they see sign up, chances are as they're going through Facebook, if they're clicking on homes, they're not going to want to sign up for something. But Learn More, obviously, it doesn't sound like they are going to be blasted with something. They're just, learning a bit more. But when they click on that, it takes them to the lead form. We'll go test. So this is, you can only do the lead form back at the campaign level when we chose our objective and we chose the lead generation. This is what it gets us. So you can use a form type, and you can add an introduction if you'd like to, give it a little headline right here, and then add a description if you want to lay out, maybe you just wanted a simple copy and you wanted to get them in here. And once they're in here, then they're a lot more motivated. So you wanted to throw in a description if you're doing a specific homes list or something along those lines. But for the single listing, We usually just go with taking out the introduction, and I'll head down here to the questions. So it's going to automatically put in email and full name, and we usually take out full name. You can do so if you'd like to. Because we use a program called Zapier, which again, JD will go over that later. We love that program. But when it's formatted, when we're trying to get it so that it sends us text and puts them into our CRM, first name and last name is a lot easier and looks a lot smoother for us on our end. So you can by all means do full name. But for us, we like to do first name and last name. And then we'll put in email as well as right here, phone number. All right. And then head down here. Want to make sure you put in your privacy policy. If you don't have one, talk to your team or even go to the EXP one, EXP's website and find their privacy policy, but you'll have to have one here. Or there's a few sites too. If you've got a KV Core site and you can go, there's a lot of neat tools that help you create a privacy policy really quick. You put in like your name, a little bit about your business, and then it just generates it for you and creates the link. So that's super nice. But yeah, want to make sure you have a privacy policy or else it won't let you finish the form. And another thing we've seen people do sometimes as well is a custom disclaimer. So you can add this if you'd like to, which is basically just another checkbox, another way to really confirm and make sure someone is wanting to opt into this. So if you're finding that people are just clicking and saying, oh, I didn't mean to click on that, or I didn't go through that, that wasn't me, then you can add a custom disclaimer here to more for your knowledge too, to go, okay, well, you definitely, you clicked on learn more, you filled out all the information, and you checked the box saying it was okay. So hard for them to kind of get around that one. But then head on down here to the thank you screen. And for the headline, it gives you, thanks, you're all set. We like to go with so you can just check out the link below, click the big blue button below, or you've got one more step. And then in the description, we like to go with just maybe another small call to action, just in case. So, looking to purchase right now or schedule a viewing, and you can play around with this. You can do, looking to schedule a viewing, or instead of purchase right now, look at other homes in the area, something like that, and, call to book your appointment. And because you can do a call now down here, but because we are doing it for the view website, it would be, you're not able to put the button to call them down there. So it's going to be right up here. And it'll be view website, button text, this gorgeous listing. So something like, you can do, click here to view your listing, but we like to, make it a little bit different, check out this gorgeous listing or check out this rare opportunity, and then put down the website link down below. So once you finish with that, you'll click on finish. And one thing to be careful of is if you want to come back, make sure you save it, because once you finish, you actually can't edit a form. You have to duplicate that form and then go and make whatever edit. So even if you just wanted to, you said, I don't really like this little verbiage right here, and you just wanted to take it out, you wouldn't be able to go and edit the form. You'd have to create a new one, go here, edit this, and then click finish from there. So if you're not sure about your form and you're maybe waiting a bit, then I would click save so that way you can come back and edit it. So normally you'd click finish, and then you'll have your form, and then you'll scroll down here. This is just kind of for tracking for your pixel. Facebook gives a lot of great options now. You can, for retargeting. So the pixel is mainly for retargeting. So if you want to put it into your KV Core site, if you're directing people there, then that's a great option. That's a whole nother topic. But they do also give a lot of great options for retargeting when it comes to being able to retarget based on leads that have come in, people who have filled out a lead form, people who have visit your Facebook page. So we don't usually worry about that until, especially when we're just creating a basic ad for this kind of thing. So that's all I've got. From there, you just click confirm and let your ad run. And that's about it. It was kind of a crash course. I know we went kind of quick, but we will be doing a recording later. So we'll send that out. But I'm going to let JJ take it away from here, and he's going to kind of go into the kind of meat and juice behind why we do some of the things we do.
Awesome, man. Thank you. If you can pull up that little presentation, that would help too.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, give me one second. Chris Wimberly in the chat said, yeah, we will be recording this, so we will be sending it out. And Harry, I will make sure to answer your question. We'll do a Q&A at the end, so I promise I'll get to you. But we're going to try and run through all this real quick. All right. Can you all see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, awesome. So sweet. Appreciate that, Peter. That was a ton of good information. Especially that step-by-step on how to run an ad. I haven't seen a lot of those, so that was definitely helpful to see again. So to dive into, I guess, the audience set a little bit more. So you guys see where it says leads 0 right there on that right hand side. With a $10 to $15 budget, the goal is to see 10 to 16 as far as leads goes. And what that means is it's an estimate of what Facebook thinks you're going to get as far as leads per that dollar, and or per that amount that you're spending per day. So if it was $10 a day, they're assuming that you're going to see it between 10 to 14 leads. So to kind of change this from 0 to 10, for example, or to have the reach a little higher, you can change the radius of this place marker right here, and you can put it in different areas to see if you'll yield higher results. And also, don't get nervous if it does say 0, because we've seen a lot of volatile results from when it says 0. So don't get necessarily discouraged, but a couple things to play around with are the different interests you can target, and playing around with that radius a little bit. So awesome. So as far as the interest targeting goes, if you're doing, so like, let's say, for example, you're doing like a homes list, you could target either homes.com, you could target house hunting, you could target first time home buyer. These are pretty much the different things you can target, and you can add them what you're specifically marketing to. So if you're working with a lender and you're working with ad spend with them to get a bunch of people pre-approved, and they need a mortgage calculator or a mortgage loan, that's a good way to go as well. Or if you're going the rent-to-own route, adding like renting, the rent-to-own category, the rent-to-own interest, it helps a lot with the reach as well. So usually with the more interest, usually 9 times out of 10 you'll see a more reach, but it'll give you a good list when you are in the special ad housing category, a whole bunch of different things that you can target within that. So awesome. So add copy. So sweet. So kind of test with the verbiage of, if you're doing a homes list, a rent to own, if you have a value proposition to the marketplace, like special home grants, you can use this in the primary text as well. And also, when we say test with this, test with that, usually what we're saying is test with a few different ad copies, and test with around $20 to $30 with a few different ads. That can be over the course of a couple days, a week, whatever kind of your ad budget is. I mean, you could do $5 a day for 3 different ads. And once those each reach $20 to $30, you have a good range of what results that'll yield. And so as far as testing with the headlines, there's a whole bunch of different things you can use, like the homes list and rent to own that I was talking about earlier. And as far as the copy below that, we've seen a good amount of results with the long copy and the short copy, but we've tested it sometimes in different areas. I mean, there's I'm not blanking on the place in Georgia where it didn't work as well. We tested with a short copy, didn't work very well, but when we tested with a long copy, it worked way better. So that's just an example of different areas yield different results, and knowing your marketplace really well is gonna help that, and save time down the line when long copy works in your area, short copy works in your area. So and also on top of that, when Peter was talking about price earlier, putting price in works, especially when you say they can have a deal. When there's a deal involved, whether it's discount properties or foreclosure properties, under 350, in some places that's a big deal, and people are more interested and catches their eye. So you can do things like that. That's when I advise using the price. Or you can also do, if you're not using the price, you can do wait until you see the price, or you won't believe the price. That there's a couple other examples you can use if you're not using the price within your copy. So awesome. So these are the results we have seen specifically with the single listing ad we've been doing. And with this amount of leads coming in, it's really like, I mean, with Facebook in general, it's kind of like playing the numbers game sometimes. So if these leads are followed up with properly, 9 times out of 10, you'll see that 2.2 to 4.3 conversion. And also on top of the lower cost per lead with large quantities, the goal is really to fill that pipeline. Because at times, many times, they may seem like tire kickers, and many are, but if you keep in mind that a lot of these people are starting their search, this is their start of their search, usually is on Facebook, is on Google, on social media 96% of the time, and they usually don't have a real estate agent yet. They're looking for one, they're shopping for one, they're seeing who's out there the most. So if you can be the first to get in front of them and first to make an impression, like you have knowledge in your area, you'll be able to get them hands down every single time. So yeah, that's just wanted to talk about the results real quick. So lead form questions. If every lead is bad, like you've called them 10 times in 7 days, they didn't respond, terrible numbers, bad emails, you can't get a hold of them for the life of you, and you're getting extremely low cost per lead, add questions for a little more quality to the leads that you're getting in, because more questions for the leads equal a little bit more bounce rate, but a little bit higher intent. And usually we like to start with 2 to 3 to start and kind of see, and it usually raises the bar on our cost per lead around $1, sometimes $2 max. And then when we start asking more questions, say at the point we're asking 2 to 3 questions, and we're getting a little bit higher results, but we want a little bit better, and so we're working 4 to 7 questions ish in there, then we really know that they're a high quality lead. Because I mean, if they're serious, they're really serious if they're actually answering 4 to 7 questions. So from what we've seen so far, I mean, buyer leads are a lot cheaper than seller leads. So getting a large amount of buyer leads and asking, do you rent or own, as one of those questions is a great way to find out if they're a potential seller lead as well. So you can get that buy and sell side. And one of our favorite questions to ask is, if we missed anything, how else can we help you? So to get an exact answer of what they're looking for. So when you are talking with them on the phone, you'll know what they're exactly looking for. So you're not just asking a bunch of blank questions, getting a bunch of blank answers. So those are a couple things that work really well. Awesome. So Zapier, Peter was talking a little bit about this earlier and how much we like this platform. I mean, we really do, because it saves us hours and hours of work. So essentially what Zapier does is it's pretty much a middleman to almost every single platform out there. And what I mean by that is, if we have a lead that we get from Facebook, and we use the middleman Zapier, Zapier pushes the lead to either your phone as a immediate notification that the lead comes in. You can get an email notification when the lead comes in. It can go straight into any CRM, pretty much on the marketplace. And the reason why it saves a ton of time for us and our clients is because we would have to, one, go to Facebook, and then two, download a CSV, and import all that information into the CRM, when we can just get it. We can get all the information we need, ask all the questions we want, and all the forms and everything would go straight to those different platforms, no matter what CRM or anything you're using. And also on top of that, the reason why we like it as well is because you can contact the lead immediately, whether you have drip campaigns activated, whatever it is, or the lead's getting sent to your phone and you're calling them right off the rip. I mean, doing that is a lot better and more efficient for you to actually get the lead as a client, rather than, once a day at the end of the day, we're going to download all 5 to 10 leads or whatever it was. So it just saves a ton of time on that end, and speed to lead is a real thing. So you definitely want to be hitting these leads as fast as possible, and Zapier helps. So that's pretty much all I have. Yeah, Peter, we can jump right into the Q&A.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that was awesome. Especially, I love that last part. That's one big thing we've seen, is that these leads are looking around on Facebook. So if you take until the end of the day, sometimes with some of them, even the end of the day, they will have forgotten that they clicked on the ad, or they'll have no idea what they did. So getting in touch with them soon is really important. So, I mean, yeah, we can't stress enough how much we love using Zapier. But as for the Q&A, yeah, there were a few questions in the chat, so let me hop back up to the top and make sure I answer some of the ones that were already done. Harry was asking, so as a luxury specialist with a market area roughly 5 miles in diameter, we have to waste 75-8% of our marketing budget on completely unqualified audience. Unfortunately, yeah, that's kind of how it's going right now, because and that's where interest targeting comes in. So if you throw in luxury real estate, as well as throwing in some extra questions, just to try and qualify those people, because unfortunately, yeah, it's like, if you do want to put in only a 5-mile radius, we're not able to anymore, just because minimum of 15 or higher. And then you were also saying any of the content options, lead gen, text, form type. If you want to rephrase, not totally sure what you mean by that. What information not being used in the final ad? When you get a sec. Oh, okay, gotcha. And then Frank was asking, with all the targeting changes, are you still able to exclude an audience? So unfortunately, no, not anymore. We used to be able to exclude zip codes, and a big one too was being able to exclude occupations. So you could exclude realtors, because obviously you don't want them clicking on your form and going through or trying to exclude, I'm trying to think, it used to be able to target by income range. So you could exclude people with lower incomes, but we can't exclude anyone anymore. You just have to really try and work your way. And that's where, interest comes in, as well as adding those questions into the lead form, depending on how your ad is going so far. But we usually start out the ad with no questions, just to kind of see what we bring in, and then modify it from there. And by that, do you mean Gabri? Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. How do you go about for new agents? Do you mean getting like agent attraction, getting new agents, or if you're a new agent who is doing Facebook ads? Gotcha. For new agents, it's really, we like to go with the single listing, just because, if you're running that, it's some people, obviously if you want to go for a higher cost per lead because you're trying to get more quality, that takes a lot more testing, because you have to figure out, you might have an ad that on paper looks like it should get more quality leads, but it takes that testing and finding out with the copy, the amount of questions on the form. So we recommend something simple, whether it's a, hot homes list, new homes list, or that single listing ad that we went over. If you don't have a listing, if you don't have one, yeah, I mean, I recommend either, if someone in your team is allowing you to maybe promote their listing and then you're able to then promote that. That's what we've had with some people. If not, then we have them go with the homes list. And if you do have them, one keynote, if you do have them promote one of their listings, make sure at the end of the lead form, if you have a good connection with that agent and you're okay with having that lead go to them and then you getting credit for it, that's great. But you want to make sure you're not sending leads to that site and then not getting any credit for it. So sometimes what we'll do is we'll say, thank you. If you're a new agent, we'll be in contact with you soon, but don't put the link to the listing at the end of the lead form, and then just call them later and asking them, if this is what you're looking for, or if you're looking for something else, coming at it from a standpoint of wanting to help them. But that way you can lead them towards it and making sure you're getting credit for that. And Renee brought up agent attraction. Yeah, agent attraction, we haven't done a ton with that. One thing that I will caution you on, though, is to make sure that those special ad categories that I was showing at the beginning, those are agent attraction would be an employment. I didn't think so at first, but I was running that one and that other ad I was talking about at the same time. So it was one of those that kind of dinged us. So make sure if you're doing agent attraction, you put it under that employment ads category. And otherwise, yeah, I don't have a ton of agent attraction because we haven't done too much with Facebook ads for that. But again, that would be a lot of testing, talking about, the benefits of joining your team, the benefits of joining EXP, or, maybe giving a small quiz booklet away for, successful tips for real estate agents, and then talking to them through that. So there's a bunch of different ways to go about it. Let's see. For targeting sellers have definitely been they're on the more expensive side, that's for sure. I mean, I've tested with multiple copies in different areas, and they seem to be, it's just a tougher one to kind of get through to. And so we found that instead of trying to spend a ton of money, now obviously that was just trying with maybe like a simple, check out what your home value is, free home evaluation. Those are getting very saturated. People are kind of, I think, getting started tired of seeing that. So if you are going to do sellers, make sure that you have a unique value proposition that you're going over. So whether it's you can sell their home in X amount of days, or you'll buy their home from them if you can't sell it after a certain amount of time, those are the type of seller ads that are probably going to get you better results, because it's much more tantalizing than just a free home valuation that, everyone's seeming to offer. So if you are going to do target sellers, make sure that you have like a unique value proposition. Do you have an example of your homes list ad? Not right now. It's somewhere in our, I'm just somewhere in our business manager. I think we might have it somewhere on our Facebook page, or we've put it out for content, but there's a lot of examples online too. And you can find some great stuff, even just going to other, Facebook pages and looking around what they've got. So there's a bunch of great examples out there. So I'll ask, what would you suggest for someone like me who has a messy business manager account that I've been playing with for a couple of years? I want to start from scratch again and have a clean start. Yeah, no, that's a great question. that's something, we've worked with a lot of real estate agents, and it's tough because onboarding wise, it's like I would like to just give like a one size fits all, but everyone's at different stages of where their Facebook's at. So if you can create, look up online how to create a new business manager. I believe you can create multiple businesses within your personal profile. I'm trying to think. I don't remember exactly how to do it, but there should. If you just look up, also you could talk to Facebook support or look in some of the forums. It's just, I can't remember how to. It's kind of a weird roundabout way. But so Harry put a little thing down there. Thank you, Harry. I would just create a new business manager, and you can add, or a new business inside of your business manager to then, add your page again, add your ad account, all that good stuff.
All right, Peter, did you see the Q&A?
I've been trying to click on it. I'm in the chat, but I'm trying to click on the Q&A. It's not popping up anything. Let me try.
Anonymous asked, what's your lead follow-up process like? And so to answer that question, I use a CRM called Shoutboss that touches the leads 12 times in 7 days, anywhere from voicemail, email, to text. And then on top of that, it puts them on a 12-month drip after that. I use that. And if they respond back to me, that's when I kind of follow up with them. But if I do not have a system like that, what I used to do was I would do a mix of touches, anywhere from call, text, email, voicemail, all that sort of thing, around the 8 to 11 mark within that first 7 days. And for sure, right off the bat, if you get an inbound lead, you want to be following up with that ASAP. But that's kind of how many times I touch them within that 7 days, and then I do put them on I would put them on an email campaign, email text campaign, and you can do that within KV Core. So those are those two routes you can go. And then Mateen asked, what CRM do you use? I use personally, the two that I use is KV Core and Shoutboss, and just to explain Shoutboss and what they do. So I really like that for any of the Facebook and Google pay-per-click kind of leads we get. So those are the two that I use. And then Christina asked, what's the difference between checking, this one's for you, Peter. What's the difference between checking the special ad category box and not checking it at all? What are the advantages of checking the special category box too?
Yeah, so it's tough because the advantage of not checking it is that you aren't limited with the targeting at all. But because it's a housing ad, or if it's, if you're doing agent attraction, that's employment. If you're doing anything related to real estate, whether it's, mortgage loan officers, open house, whatever kind of ad you're doing, you have to put it in that special ads category, because they found that, people were really targeting to exclude a large amount of people, and they were trying to make, with the fair housing policies, make sure that everyone's getting a chance to see those type of ads. So not checking it, I went through that and I lost. So my personal profile is permanently banned from advertising on Facebook. I can still use it. I can still, go in and look at the ads, but I can no longer, set up a new ad account on there, run an ad. So it's a bummer because the not using the special ads category, not checking it is really nice, but it's not really available to real estate anymore. So we have to put it in the special ads category. So if you've got some other business you're running, like, you're selling shirts or something, then you don't have to check the special ads category, obviously. And you get more targeting options, but that's the difference between checking it and not checking it. Hopefully that answered it. Edmund asked, so you have Instagram connected to Facebook. If you run a paid ad on Facebook, it will automatically go to IG, or is it vice versa? So to answer that, so in that placements, in the ad set level, you can actually choose where to run the ads. So we usually take out Instagram just because a lot of people don't have their Instagram connected to their Facebook or have an. So you can go in there and then uncheck Instagram. So that way it's not running on Instagram at all and it's just on Facebook. or vice versa. If you want it to run on Instagram, then you uncheck Facebook, but you can control it from there. So it's easily available for you to kind of go in and make sure where you're wanting the ad to go is where it's going to go. Let's see here. Andrea said in the chat, so I'm going back and forth between the chat and the Q&A. Sorry, I missed you guys in the Q&A. My team usually plans open houses the week of, not giving much time to run a sponsored ad. Any suggestions? We've done a few open house ads. It's tough because obviously you can run with I wouldn't run it with lead generation. I would do it with traffic or video views if you've got a video, something to just get the most amount of people possible. For open houses though, I mean, that is going to be best done I guess if you have a following, obviously through your Facebook page. I'm not a huge fan of going for the open houses. If you've got if you've got a little bit of a budget, you want to go for it and kind of put it out. If you're giving out like hot chocolate or something like that, something to kind of lure people in. Or yeah, I don't have a ton of information on that just because we haven't done a ton of those. It's something you can do, and you can just list out similar to the single listing almost. You can just give a little bit of information, great deal under blank K price, and then give more information on when it is. But yeah, if you're going to run that, I wouldn't do lead gen. I would do traffic just because you want to get the most amount of people possible. Melvin asked, why do lead gen versus conversions when setting up the ad? No, that's an awesome question. So we do lead generation because that allows us to get that lead form, which you can't get with any other of the objectives. And conversions we would do if we were sending someone to a KV Core site or some other landing page, because in that sense, then you're using the pixel and you want to get people to a certain part of your web page. So if you're sending people, if your primary goal is to not get lead information, but just send them to a spot on your site, I would go with conversions. But we go with lead generation just because, it's the easiest way to get their information and then reach out to them, right? With conversions, that can be something where, you might get a bunch of people going to your landing page, but if they don't fill out any information, then they are kind of a lost lead. You have them for retargeting, but lead generation we've just found is the best way to really get in contact with people. I would say conversions more long-term, and lead gen is just the greatest if you're wanting to get leads in and fill up your pipeline. Let's see here. In the Q&A, Christina, so you were able to not check the special ads category for targeting buyers and Facebook still approved it. Yeah, that was where I was confused as well, because with the ads that we were running, I didn't check the special ads category, and it was, one running for us and then one running for agent attraction. And they disapproved it, or I think it got approved one time, and then every time I made an edit, it got disapproved. And I went to Facebook support and I said, hey, look, this is, I'm not violating the rules. It's not a housing ad. Or in your case, you can, if they don't ask you about it, then that's totally fine. But after a little amount of time, I don't know if something set it off or someone just double checked it and was like, oh shoot, we got to mark this guy. They dinged me for it. So it's kind of definitely playing the dice if you are not checking it. The only way you wouldn't, I guess, it doesn't apply. I think it's only in the US. So if you're in Canada, you won't have the option. But if it shows there for you and you don't check it, you can do it and you might be able to get away with it, which is totally fine. But you just run the risk of losing your advertising ability from your personal profile. Shannon just said need to jump off, but want to thank you. Thank you, Shannon. I appreciate you all coming. But feel free. We'll go about 11. JJ, what, until like 10 o'clock? You think?
Yeah, probably like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, so we'll go like 10 more minutes of questions if you guys got some. But yeah, thank you for coming, Shannon. Appreciate it. Anyone else got any more questions?
Yeah, that might be it, man.
Okay, yeah. Or JJ, if you want to leave them, from what you've seen with lead gen, I mean, we've tested a ton with you, especially before running for people. We make sure to test on you because we want to make sure that we're delivering people with stuff that we've seen work. What's like, in a sentence or two, what's the best advice you could give people who are doing lead gen, or especially when it comes to follow up, like really making sure that, once you are getting leads in, how do you best optimize the people that are coming in and making sure that you're using your, money to the best ability and following up?
Good question, man. I would say it's a consistency. There's times where in the beginning when we just started doing Facebook ads and stuff, where I'm like, I don't think this is going to work, and was not very confident in it. But after seeing some things convert, um, and the follow up I was doing with the people, because Facebook leads are a big nurture. You'll get the once in a blue moon, hey, I'm ready to go in 30 days, but overall it's to build a big pipeline. And that's what I started to realize like 2-3 months in. And if you're consistent with the amount of ad spend you're doing per day and to build that pipeline, even if it's $5 a day, doing that is more helpful to be able to build, to double your business essentially in the next year. So I would say that consistency aspect and just, trust the process sort of thing, with the results. So those are the couple things for sure.
Awesome. No, that's huge. And that's, something we've seen too. It is that consistency and people just kind of sticking with it. Awesome. I'm also going to throw in the chat. So if you do use Zapier and you want it to connect to your KV Core, this is something we ran into at first. Make sure you head to this special link right here. It's not like an affiliate link. It's just so that you can set up a Zap within Zapier, because Zapier isn't directly connected. So when you try and search inside of it, it won't send you to it right away. You have to use this to kind of get that set up. So just if you run into that, we ran into it as well, but just make sure you use this link and then kind of go from there. But JJ, I'll put all the other links, to reach out to us if you want to go over that real quick.
Yeah. So if you want to schedule a call with us and kind of see what we can help you do, as far as Facebook ads goes, there's that first link. And two, if you want one of our best converting ad copies, feel free to message me on there, and then also to join our group, is the bottom link. So look forward to talking with y'all for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you all having me and listening. So hopefully got some good out of it, and appreciate you all sitting through it.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.